Welcome back to SCJ Election Night 2016, and like we promised, we have our very own Ian Kist sitting down to interview with Guy Reschenthaler. We're going to go to that right now.
I am now standing with Pennsylvania Senator Guy Reschenthaler, one of the hosts of tonight's watch party here at the Crown Plaza, Pittsburgh South. Mr. Senator, how's the night going so far?
It's going incredible. I was working all day at the polls since about 8 o'clock, and I'm just outstanding support and outstanding energy levels, frankly, from both sides.
Okay. What's your goal for tonight?
For tonight, I just want to make sure that, one, I win re-election. I want to serve the full 4-year terms of the Senate seat. So that's my main goal, and I'm also pulling for some other candidates, such as Pat Toomey.
What was your main platform, especially at the polls today? How are you targeting voters?
Right. Well, my message is one of reform. I want to make sure we reform the pension system, the liquor stores, two of the big ones, and I had a big push for truancy reform to keep kids in schools, and judicial reform. And voters really like that. They like the idea of reform. They like a fresh face, a new voice in Harrisburg.
And what do you like, if Pat Toomey would win, how would you work with him to make your goals kind of go hand in hand?
Absolutely. So I work with actually Senator Toomey and Congressman Murphy quite a bit, particularly on the opioid crisis. The work on that goes hand in hand federally and state. It's a national problem, so we need to attack it from the federal and the state level. So that's just one of the areas.
Now, as the polls start closing, I know Pennsylvania closes at 8 o'clock, and the votes get tallied, what are you keeping your eye on?
I'm keeping my race first and foremost. I'm also keeping my eye on the Rafferty-Shapiro race for Attorney General. That's a very important race I'm keeping my eye on. And, of course, the Pat Toomey race. That's going to be very close, and we need Pat Toomey to win. We need him to have another 6 years in the U.S. Senate.
Thank you for taking time out of your event to speak with me, and good luck the rest of the night.
Thanks, Ian.
Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you so much, Ian. And now that we got a little bit of an idea of the local elections here, we're going to go back once again to the presidential race. Here at our map, we're going to first take a look at Florida. All right, and as that race continues to get closer and closer, and as the percentages begin to, as we get to almost 100% reporting, you see Donald Trump has the 50 to 48% lead. He's starting to pull away. And Vince, this is big for candidate Trump.
It is. It is very, very big. A lot of people coming in today thought that Hillary Clinton would just barely eke by in Florida, but we knew that this was going to be tight. Seems like every time we have an election since the turn of the millennium, we've said it's really going to come down to Florida. I think this election, no different. Whoever takes this probably is in the driver's seat.
Not only Florida, though, has been one that's been in control, but Ohio. And typically, whoever wins the state of Ohio has won the election. The only time that hasn't been true was in 1960 with John F. Kennedy. And right now, that one now is even tighter than the one with Donald Trump. But it's like you said earlier, the results are starting to trend towards Donald Trump. So does this mean that Hillary Clinton can hold on, or is this where Trump surges ahead?
It's going to be interesting to see. A lot of people thought that Ohio would lean conservatively. We know John Kasich, being from Ohio, he was in contention for the GOP. It's a right-leaning state, but it'll be interesting. You know, as we said, these two candidates are so polarizing and have so much going on behind the scenes that really the reasons that everyone is voting this year are so much different than we've seen in the past. It's less about policy, and it seems more personal this time around. So it's going to be really interesting to see why people are voting the way they're voting and what their votes say.
And Vince, you made a very good point about John Kasich. That was the only state that he won in the GOP primaries. I'd be very interested to see how many people wrote his name in. I know personally that I have family in Ohio that they all were writing in John Kasich. They love him there. Is that something that maybe we could, you know, I guess see something later? Maybe you see have a percentage that John Kasich gets. Would that be very interesting to see? Would that take away from Trump? Perhaps.
Yeah, I think it definitely would take away from Trump more than it would Hillary, though Kasich is more moderate than probably either of the two candidates.
Yes.
He is still a Republican, still leans towards the right, and it's going to be interesting. We'll have to see if we can dig up some numbers on that later in the show.
And we're going to keep you updated with everything going on with the map, especially Florida, Ohio, as the results come in. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we have so much more coming for you at SCJ Election Night, so stay tuned.